What's going on, everybody? It is do or die time as we get ready for the playoffs. Titans and Truth coming up next.
Tighten up! Let's get tightened up! Tightened up! I've been scoping from the sideline, waiting for the right time to send the freshest team to scrimmage, so I'm busting y'all. Welcome to Love. We got this here. Don't worry about it. We got this here. This is city, so out your life. Don't worry about it. See, we got this here. It's a brand new dance and it's about to go live. Tighten up, Nashville, rep the 615. First you tighten two steps, step to the right. Then you tighten two steps to the left. Blue jerseys everywhere. Game face, yeah, we got it all. Sticking out our chest, beating on it like it's King Kong. Count that. It's about to get rough. Here come the train, y'all. Tennessee, tighten up. Let's get tightened up. Tighten up. Let's get tightened up. Sticking out my tip. We know it like it's King Kong. Sticking out my tip. We know it like it's King Kong. Tighten two steps to the right. Then you tighten two steps to the left. Sticking out my tip. We know it like it's King Kong. Sticking out my tip. We know it like it's King Kong. Cookie left, third down.
Good evening, Titan Nation. How is everybody doing? Welcome into a brand new edition of Titans and Truth. I'm your man, Chris, aka Blu Enforcer, and we are going to have a fun episode for you tonight. As you can see on the title, it is Win, and we are division champions. That's all we have to do. All we have to do is win. We win this game, we are division champions. If we lose, we leave a whole lot to chance, and we will talk about that coming up here tonight. Thank everybody for being here with me on this evening. Make sure we share this show out to everybody. I want those like buttons to go up. My aim is hopefully to get about 30 to 50 people, if not more, in on the show. So definitely share this show out. Let everybody know this show is live and kicking as we speak. And we can get more people coming in here. I see AZ Big, Jahir's 8. Jameson is already here and raring and ready to go. And I appreciate everybody again being here on this wonderful Wednesday as we get ready to talk Tennessee Titan football. So shout out to everybody. I'm glad everybody is here with me. Had a good day today, despite here in Memphis having a little bit of rain, but not too much going on as far as the weather. But we did, of course, the Titans deal with some snow, which was definitely not a happy moment for the Tennessee Titans, which is a game I thank God I'm ready to forget about and ready to move on from. And that is exactly what we are going to do. And first thing first, we're going to have to start off with making sure that y'all are following on Facebook at TNT Enforcers, also on Instagram at Titans_N_Truth, and also on Twitter at TNT Blu Enforcer, as this is the last Titans in Truth for 2020. And we're going to be getting ready to go into 2021 and planning on having an even bigger and better year of Titans in Truth in 2021. And we already had a very good 2020. Thankful for that. And that's some stuff we'll talk about. We have the Blue Bombshell later at the end of the show, as well as the last Shut Your Pie Hole of the year. And I got something to get off my chest with a Shut Your Pie Hole that we're definitely going to talk about. But we're going to start off first with breaking news. And this is something that came out yesterday and also happened today as well. And that is Stephen Gostkowski and Brett Kern are both on the COVID-19 reserve list. Both of them are on the list. Not just one, but both. That happened because Stephen Gostkowski was put on the list on last night. Brett Kern was put on the list, I believe today. He was put on that list as well. So that definitely affects our special teams in a very, very major way. That is a big problem that we're going to have to deal with, and that is both of those guys being out, which means the next guys up is the kicker, Sam Sloman, who was formerly of the LA Rams and was cut after 7 games. I believe he was only 8 of 11 on his kicks. And then FedEx man Trevor Daniel is going to be back punting kicks in a very, very important game. So this is not a good time for the Titans to lose 2 important weapons, especially Brett Kern, who has by far been probably our best defensive weapon that we've dealt with. So both of these guys on the COVID-19 reserve list. Now, again, this does not mean that they both tested positive for COVID. This could mean that they both have been in close contact with someone that's had COVID, and they're just in isolation right now. So there is a very small chance they possibly could play on Sunday, but it's probably not looking very good at this very moment. And also some news, I didn't put it up here, but wide receiver Cody Hollister was activated from the COVID-19 reserve list today as well. So that is definitely very concerning as far as our 2 special teams weapons being out. Preston Beard coming in from Indiana. What's going on? I like to hear where some of y'all are from as far as listening to the show. I know we have a lot of people. We have Titan fans all over the country, and I even know that there are some Titan fans abroad. I know my guy Armando in Mexico. We got the O'Mahony brothers, Egan and I forgot his brother's name. I want to say Ian and Egan, I believe, are in Ireland. They are the Irish Titans. I do remember that. So shout out to everybody that's listening in. Again, we want to get about 30 to 50 people in here at least, and want that to grow. Want those like buttons to go up. So please hit those like buttons from me and help me out with that. I'm on a race to get to 1,000. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well. I see we got BLVG 901 Memphis, staying in Lincoln, Nebraska. B, I want to know, are you from Lakeview Gardens originally? Because if so, I'm like, we got a lot in common. Because I too grew up in Lakeview Gardens as well in Memphis. So let me know that. Let's see, we got Drumstar said Midden State. Don't know exactly which state that is, but let me know what's up. Travis, what's up, my guy? AZ Mick, I hope it doesn't come down to a field goal either. That could be a very scary situation. So both of those guys on the COVID-19 list, and that is something that could be very, very concerning indeed. Now, let's get to our two-tone blue star of the week. And there really wasn't too many nominations that could go about because, I mean, the game just did not go as well as we wanted. It definitely didn't go well. Oh, LVG said he was in Lakeview Garden. That's what's up. Honduras Cove representing. Honduras Cove, 301 Honduras Cove. That's where I grew up my whole life. So shout out to Lakeview Gardens, the home. That was where it all started for me. But the two-tone blue star of the week, who would you say was the best player in this game against the Green Bay Packers? Again, there wasn't too many possible nominations because, I mean, it wasn't really a lot of guys that played well in this game. There's one in particular, and I think AZ Mick hit it well on the head with that, so I'm not really going to waste a lot of time, to be perfectly honest. I mean, shout out to Malcolm Butler. Didn't do too bad. I mean, there was some plays that he didn't do great in, but he wasn't just terrible. But the two-tone blue star of the week for me is pretty unanimous, and I don't think too many people will disagree with this choice. But that guy has to be David Long Jr. because I felt it, and a lot of other people felt it too. David Long Jr. seemed to be the only one, probably on the field, that really gave a damn. He was playing. That much is a fact. And I mean, Wyatt Ray got the sack and everything. And I know Jeff Simmons is trying. I know he's out there trying to do it. But a lot of other guys on defense just did not look good at all. But David Long definitely deserves to be the two-tone blue star of the week. There is no doubt about it. There it is right there. The comment goes up because that's just the truth. David Long could be a very nice player, and he's a guy, he could definitely make it so that it makes Jayon Brown expendable. But then again, there is another idea that could come to mind. There is another idea that I've thought of that is easy. And the question is, and we will talk about this more on Pick My Brain, is do you resign Jayon Brown but get rid of Rashaan Evans? That's going to be the question. And why I say that is because the Titans have a decision to make this offseason. Do they pick up the fifth-year option on Rashaan Evans? That is going to be a major question. Do they pick him up on his fifth-year option? So that's something we're definitely going to talk about. Let's see. Jameson says, Council Bluffs, Iowa crossed the Missouri River from Omaha, Nebraska. Let's see. Yeah, because I know we got some people up. I know we have Minnesota Titan who usually tunes in. So I see that you're in Nebraska and the Iowa area. So I definitely appreciate that. President said, hoping to clinch in the AFC South. It would be the first time in 12 years. That much is true. Let's see. Let's see. State on Washburn. Hey, I'm a Lakeview School alum. Pirates. Go Lakeview Pirates. Yes, indeed. Lakeview Pirates class of 95. Just let y'all know. So that is something right there. BLVG, we're going to have to catch up and everything. So, and David Thompson, what's up? Welcome in, says, defense straight trash. Got to overhaul the defense this season. Don't resign no one on defense. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Jayon Brown was playing very well before he went out with that injury. He was making plays. The Pittsburgh game, one of those interceptions was all him. He made a big play, and he has done very well in coverage. And, definitely, I think it was one of the team leaders in tackles. What's up, King Isaac? So, again, that theory is out. Resign Jayon Brown, get rid of Rashaan Evans. You have Jayon Brown and David Long. You would have two fast linebackers who can both tackle and cover. That could be something that could be very beneficial. So that's just something to think about. But David Long Jr., the star of the week. But as we all know, whenever there's a star of the week, there is also a dunce of the day. And I'm pretty sure there are plenty of dunce nominees to go around. I don't think I can count on my fingers the dunce nominees that could be out. Also, a special two-tone blue star of the week shout out before we go further. I forgot to mention this. The Pittsburgh Steelers. I have to admit, as much as I don't want to say this, I know there are Steeler fans that will be watching this show. But I'm going to give a big shout out to the black and gold, to black and yellow, because It is because of them we still have a chance at the division title. It wasn't looking good early, but they turned it around. Because if the Steelers had lost that game, the way that everything goes, it would have been a truly disastrous Sunday. Everything that could have went wrong for us would have went wrong. One thing went right, and that was Pittsburgh winning. And now we still have a chance to win the division. Had Indy won that game, and with us losing, it would have been Indy wins or Titans lose, they win the division. We still would have had a shot at the playoffs, but we would have had a really hard time winning the division. We still now control our own destiny and control the division. So that's that on that. Wheezy Bowski says she's a Navajo land, New Mexico. Oh, that's what's up. King Isaac says defense is murdering this team. That much is a fact. That much is a fact on that. Let's see. AZ Mick coming out with dunce of the day, Rashawn Evans. I couldn't agree more. That's a definite good choice. Derrick Henry could definitely be a nominee, even though he had 23 carries, 98 yards. I just don't think Derrick Henry really felt like himself. He really didn't feel like him in this game, to be perfectly honest. It seemed like he wasn't really having his footing and wasn't really just all the way in the game as he normally would be. And, I think a lot of that had to do with the conditions. As I said on my post game on Monday night, you can go back and check that out. The weather was definitely a weapon. The snow was a weapon. There is no doubt about it. The snow was a weapon. It was used against us, and it hurt us tremendously. So Derrick Henry could be a nominee. Tannehill didn't have a great game either. Anybody on the defense, Adoree Jackson looked horrifically bad in this game. Desmond King did not look good. The tackling was not great. Still couldn't get a sack to save our life. The referees could get a nominee because they missed two terrible calls, calling that offsides on Josh Kalu when nobody was offsides on a field goal that we blocked. And then also Aaron Jones stepping out of bounds, but nobody said anything. And even though Aaron Rodgers got everybody to the line and Mike Vrabel wasn't able to challenge that. So there are definitely a lot of dunce of the day nominees to go around. So who do y'all feel is the dunce of the day? Vrabel could definitely get a nominee as well because he got thoroughly outcoached. We got outplayed, outgunned, outcoached, all of that. We sucked in all four areas of the game. So who do y'all think is the dunce of the day? Again, I know AZ Big said Rashawn. What's up, Two Tone Zone? I'm going to have to check out y'all show. Make sure y'all check out Two Tone Zone. I know they did a show last night. Also to Ken Moore on the day after he did his show. I was on it, so y'all make sure y'all check them out. Shout out to Titan Upload, Mr. Titan, those guys. We're a community. We are a family. We all support each other. We all do a lot of different things. So shout out to those guys. Let's see. Jameson says, thanks, Steelers, for balling out. Absolutely. Says, Kinston comes in and says, wouldn't surprise me if we just blitz every team we play. We may not have a choice. We're going to have to get some type of pressure somehow. And he said, Titans just didn't show up to play. Don't make excuses for them. The weather had nothing to do with it. They have played in cold games before. Packers were playing in it too. We're fine. Now, Kinston, you my guy, but I 100% disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly with that. The weather was definitely a factor. It looked like they were timid. They were worried about their footing, didn't want to slip up or anything like that. But you got to think about it like this. The Titans have played in cold games. Cold games is one thing. Snow is completely different. Yes, it's cold, but you got that terrain where it can freeze. or anything like that, which means if you take a bad step, you could slip and fall, you could tear a knee, you could twist an ankle, which A.J. Brown might be dealing with that right now. So the weather, again, Kingston, you my guy, but I disagree completely. The weather has something to do with it. And y'all don't say this whole thing of the Packers had to play in it too, and all of this had nothing to do with it. The Packers are used to snow. Aaron Rodgers has been the quarterback of that team for over 15 years. He used to playing in snow. It was a little bit of snow in the game when the Vikings played the Packers. The Vikings are used to snow, even though they play indoors. They're used to snow. It snows in Minnesota. It snows in Wisconsin. It doesn't do a lot of snowing in Tennessee, except maybe in late January, early February. Yeah, it snows a little from time to time. But the Titans are not used to playing in the snow. Now, Mike Vrabel used to play in the snow when he played for New England. But he's not, some of those players weren't used to playing in the snow. Absolutely not. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, they've been playing on that team for some years. They're used to it. So the weather was a big weapon in the hands of the Green Bay Packers. Let's see. Preston says, hope we go to the Super Bowl for the first time in 20 years. Two Tone Zone says, nominee Arthur Smith. Yeah, there were some play calls that I had some questions about. Maybe we were a little timid or anything like that. Didn't like punting the ball on fourth down, even though I know they were trying to pin them deep. Maybe we try to get some points. Kinston says the entire team is a dunce, although that was a very bad showing. David Thompson says Vrabel is a dunce. Preston says, I found this YouTube channel. Titans Upload sent me, so I subscribe to you. Appreciate that. Shout out again to Titan Upload. But thank you for coming on in, Preston. Welcome to the Titans in Truth crowd and community. Welcome in. Jameson says referees, horrible penalties called on us, just plain trash. And the Packers had no penalties called on them. That is true. That is something I've never seen before. Never have I heard of a team going through an entire game with no penalties called against them. That was a shock. That was absolutely a shock to me, was that there were no penalties called on the Green Bay Packers whatsoever. Not one was called on them. And that's a little iffy, if you ask me. That's a little fishy to me. Dozens of dunce. Let's see. Philip Maddox says J-Rob should be dunce of the day because he allowed Vrabel to convince him we don't need a DC. I'll put that more on Vrabel than John Robinson, but then again, I would say this. John Robinson should go to Mike Vrabel and tell him, you need a defensive coordinator. I demand you hire one. That should definitely happen. So I'm going to basically wrap this up and say the two-tone blue dunce of the day, or dunces, has to go to the entire defense. I mean, everybody deserves it. Everybody. I mean, even though David Long played well, Rashaan Evans, I mean, with the dumbest penalty you could have, hands to the face, we're getting off the field on third down, but you cause a stupid penalty, which keeps the drive going, which I believe the Packers scored on that drive. What's up, Reggie B? I mean, and Jameson mentioned it too. The defensive backs were playing so far off the ball, you're basically giving them yards. And Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast was talking about it, how the Titans receivers corners were 9 yards apart, 9 yards off the line of scrimmage. I mean, if it's 3rd and 6 and you're 9 yards off the ball, you just gave them a first down. That's why Aaron Rodgers didn't have to waste no time throwing the ball. If he sees that, he go hut and throw. That's it. Pass rush won't get there. So that's something, And we've had bad luck going to Lambeau Field. Now, we've had better luck when they came here, as Jimmy Arnold definitely mentioned. Yes, a few years ago, we did beat them when we were here. I think we've beaten the Packers every time they've come here. We've had good luck against them at Nissan Stadium, but have not had good luck against them at Lambeau. D09, what up with you? Let's see. I know the Titans have their ups and downs sometimes, but our fans, as fans, they're loyal. Yes, we do stick with our team. I've been sticking with this team for over 25 years, since 1996. Going into my 25th year as a fan of this team. Been through the good times and the bad. Went through the Music City Miracle and getting to the Super Bowl and getting to the playoffs 13-3 to going 4-12, 5-11, going 2-14 in Wizard Hunt year. Definitely there. But an honorable mention, we've been there. We've been there as fans. And I say again, the dunce of the day to the entire defense because it's trash. Vrabel is included in that as well because his arrogance is killing us. He's just acting like, oh, we got to play better. There's nothing wrong. He's basically saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with the defense. We're going to be fine. We're going to turn it around. I don't know if they're going to be able to fix that. That's going to be an off-season thing that they're going to have to do. They're going to have to overhaul this defense and do something because this defense has got to change, and I think a defensive coordinator will definitely help with that. But the refs definitely missed some bad calls. That was horrible. And that was something that Joseph Rodriguez put in a question about, saying should the refs be fined or something. They're not going to fine the refs just because they made a couple of bad calls. There are bad calls in every game, and they're not going to call it, although they should. They definitely should with that. Jameson comes in and says, my main frustration with the snow is a factor. The snow was a factor because Titans' offensive philosophy is to take advantage in cold weather and snow. I drunk the Kool-Aid as well. I honestly thought, with it being a cold weather game and maybe in the snow, I honestly thought, you know what? This is the perfect type of game for Derrick Henry to just run amok. I honestly thought that. It did not go the way that I actually thought. I honestly thought that. I thought it would help. It didn't. It didn't at all. And we got smoked. We got smoked in every which way possible. So, in being smoked, and now we'll move on, there are the playoff scenarios. And we all know, a lot of us know what they are. I mean, it's pretty simple to figure out. And that's this. Now, you'll see me, but here it is. The Titans, all they got to do is win. Titans win. No questions about it. Titans win. No questions asked. We win the division. Or if the Colts lose. Or if it happens that both teams in their games tie, which I know that's not going to happen. So basically, Titans win or Colts lose. Titans win the division. No questions asked. We're the 4th seed. Now, I'm going to take this off of here for a second. Now, Titans just get into the playoffs. If Baltimore wins, if Baltimore loses, or Miami loses, or there's ties and everything with that tie, Cleveland lost, or Tennessee and Baltimore each have ties, or us and Miami have ties. But mainly if Baltimore loses or Miami loses, we are in the playoffs. And Baltimore plays the Cincinnati Bengals, who the Bengals have won a few games. They're playing some good ball. But I don't think they're losing to Baltimore. The main game we all should be paying attention to is Miami and Buffalo. Now, Buffalo is playing for that 2 seed. They win, they could be the 2 seed and end up playing the 7th seed. If Buffalo wins and they're the 2 seed, Miami is out and we are in. No questions asked. Now, Austin of A to Z Sports came up with this nugget, and it is that maybe in a way we should take care of our business and hope Miami wins. because if Miami wins the game and we win, the 4-5 matchup would be us and the Dolphins. And I know their defense is good, but I like our chances at home against Tua. I think Tua is not that good of a quarterback. Our defense could have a chance to have a good game for once. Possibly. But if Miami loses and we still get in, the 4-5 matchup, I believe, would be the Baltimore Ravens. And you know the Ravens are probably itching to play us. And mainly, we got to think about history. And this is something that Austin brought up, which is something that I didn't even think about, but should have remembered. And that is this. We've had, in the series between Baltimore and Tennessee in the playoffs, how many times has the home team won the playoff game? The answer is 0. None. Anytime the Ravens and the Titans have played in the playoffs, the road team has always won. Go back to 2000. Tennessee Titans were the number 1 seed. Got home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Ray Lewis and the Ravens came in here, beat us. Ray Lewis had that pick 6, messed with Eddie George. They ran all the way to the Super Bowl. Then, I want to say it was 2003. We go to Baltimore in the wild card round. Eddie George got his revenge. Gary Anderson kicks a game-winning field goal. Titans beat the Ravens in Baltimore. 2008, Titans got off to that 10-0 start. 10-0 start, got to 13-3, home field advantage. Ravens came in and beat us because we had Lindell White fumble the ball, Algie Crumpler fumble the ball, Chris Johnson went down in that game. They didn't call that I want to say delay of game against Baltimore that they should have called. All of that, we lost. And then there's last year. Went to Baltimore. Everybody was picking Baltimore. We go up there and win. So the road team has won every game in this series in the playoffs. I think history would keep going in that direction, although I want us to win, and I think we could win. I think we're a good matchup for the Ravens, but that history thing could be against us. So I think a lot of people would think that the Dolphins would be the better matchup. And let's see, we got a lot of people saying, King I said the Packers paid the rest. Titan Upload is saying Ravens versus Titans. Book it. So what's up, Titan Upload, coming on in here? D09 says, if we don't win this game, we don't deserve to make the playoffs, to be honest. And that is something we're about to talk about in just a second. Titan Upload says Colts will not lose. Who would you rather play in the first round? Did Titan Upload ask? And we'll go right into pick my brain in a second. That's easy. I'm choosing the Dolphins. I would rather play the Dolphins first, but in this wild card round, I'm not going to fear any team. I'm not going to fear anybody with that. The Browns, I would love to play. We owe them an ass kicking. Excuse my language. Steelers are resting guys, so if you wonder, had they had a talk with the Bills, Vegas only has Bills as a 1-point favorite. Now, that's a good question. Are the Bills going to rest guys? That could be a good question. So we'll have to see about that. And Titan Upload coming out with some news saying the Packers claimed Damon Snacks Harrison. And that was something I did see, that Snacks Harrison was waived by Seattle. I hate we didn't pick him up. We need all the help we can get on the defense. Now, I don't think the Packers are ahead of us as far as the waiver wire. So I just don't think we put a claim in on them. That stinks. But last but not least, let's go to this. And this is something that I pray to God does not happen. This is obvious of Kim Moore. You're probably still going to see me, but here is this. Y'all might not be able to see this too well, but this is the doomsday scenario that Ken Moore put up on his Twitter page. Go follow him at Kmore Sports. And the doomsday scenario basically shows this is what happens if the Ravens win, the Dolphins win their game, the Colts win their game, but we lose, we're out. So even though the Titans are 95% chance of going in, there is that doomsday scenario that the Titans, if they lose to the Texans, could be going from 95% in, could win the division title, to out altogether. And if that happens, I guarantee all of you, you're not going to want to miss my angry, livid, pissed off, want to go choke somebody to death rant. Because I will be beside myself. Angry, livid, ticked off will not even be good enough words. That's just, those things happening, that would be a good thing. Angry, ticked off, livid, that's actually me being professional and nice. That's me from 1 to 10 of being angry. If I'm angry, upset, livid, that's about a 2 compared to what I will be if the Titans lose and they miss out on the playoffs. I will be 38 white hot if the Titans don't get into the playoffs and don't get this right. I will be angry. I will be white hot at everybody. I will be going off on everybody, literally wishing I could throw and break stuff. That is as ticked off as I will be if the Titans lose this game and don't get in the playoffs. So we better win. Let's see. Hunter Kelly says, we got to come out and smack Houston in the mouth. Can't let it be close. Agreed. Ty Nublo says, kind of how I feel about the Senate right now. We're not political on the show, but we might just get into that because that is something that did tick me off tremendously. I do agree with that. But let's go quickly into pick my brain. Pick my brain. So y'all give me up a few questions and hit me up on that. Joseph already came up with some questions talking about my thoughts, on the refs. Obviously, they're not going to get fined. You get fined for talking bad about the refs. You get fined for talking bad about the refs. Of course, Titan Upload says, who do I want more, Dolphins or Ravens? I'd say Dolphins, but also I would say the Browns. The only reason I don't want to play the Ravens is because of history. But I still think we could beat them, and we could probably break that. So, give me up some more questions, y'all. Let me know what y'all thinking. And I'm going to look up on the group, see if we got some other questions popping up here. And obviously, y'all can check out on my page about Tyreekis, because Tyreekis had a good rant that I 100% agree with. So y'all check it out on the page. Also, and I was talking about what Joseph mentioned about the refs. He also mentioned about the Predators. Looks like some fans are going to be able to go in to Bridgestone Arena in January when the season starts. I don't know. I mean, I just want all of us to be safe and be able to enjoy sports at a safe distance and not have to worry about COVID. I mean, I know the vaccine is out, but it's going to be a while before we all get back to normal. So we just have to be careful. We have to be careful. P. Hicks says, any chance the defense improves a little bit? I don't know. We're going to have to see. The defense has not shown that they're going to improve much at all. And mainly, as Tyreek has said on his rant, I give fault more to coaching. because I've said this many times on this show. If it was one or two players that were struggling on defense, then I'm thinking, okay, that player is the issue. That player needs to play better. And I know execution is very important. You can have the perfect scheme, but you have to execute. However, if an entire unit is struggling, and that is what's happening here, D-line is struggling. Pass rushers ain't getting to the quarterback. We're not tackling well. We're not covering well. The entire unit's not playing well, and that is where I look to coaching as an issue. Mike Vrabel being arrogant, being stubborn, thinking that he knows everything about defense is killing this team. And he needs to realize, you know what? I do need a defensive coordinator. Because, yes, players have to execute, and you can have all the talent in the world, but defensive coordinators are calling the plays for you to be in the right position to be successful. Coaching is telling players to play 9 yards off the ball instead of playing about 3 to 5 yards, as I suggested. So, coaching is an issue. It's a huge issue, in my honest opinion. And that's why I don't see defense improving. If the coaching improves, I think the defense could improve. Let's see. Philip Maddox saying, let's see, in your opinion, if the Titans miss the playoffs, what should be the repercussions? Should Vrabel be fired? Ooh, that's a good question. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think he'll be fired. But he will definitely be put on a hot seat. He will be on that hot seat will go from cold to hot instantly, because you will be a 10-win team that misses the playoffs. And that is something that's guaranteed to happen. There will be a 10, maybe even an 11-win team that misses the playoffs. There is going to be a 10 or 11-win team that is not going to make the playoffs. Usually, if you get 10 wins, you're in. Not this year. Because right now, the Chiefs are 14-1. The Steelers are, I want to say, 12-3. Buffalo is, I want to say, 12-3. We're right there at 10-6, 10-5. Colts are 10-5. Browns are 10-5. Ravens are 10-5. I believe the Dolphins are 10-5. All these teams have 10 wins or more. Somebody with double-digit wins is going to be out. Hunter says, would you rather play Tua or Fitzpatrick? That's easy. I would rather play Tua. Did y'all see that game against the Oakland Raiders? All the Raiders had to do was win the game. We would have been in the playoffs, no questions asked already. But everything changed when Brian Flores pulled Tua and put in Ryan Fitzpatrick. And Ryan Fitzpatrick led him to victory. I would rather take my chances with Tua. Let's see, tighten up low. What's the higher chance of happening? 2,000 yards for Henry or $2,000 checks? I'm going to say 2,000 yards for Derrick Henry. I would love to get that $2,000, but the Senate being stupid, mainly the Republicans in the Senate. Again, just my thought alone. This is not the views of Titans and Truth. It's just the views of Chris Newell on that particular point. Let's see. AFC, Preston says, the team I can't stand the AFC, the Chiefs. I want to say the team I can't really stand in. I mean, the Chiefs are definitely a candidate. But I would definitely say I hate the Patriots with a passion. So I'm glad the Patriots are eliminated. This will be interesting. Let's see. Preston says, I like your tighten up low. Oh, he's talking to tighten up low. Never mind. Paulie D says, final score for Sunday. I'll tell you that in the prediction. If we had a defensive coordinator this year, he would be fired. True. Paulie D, true. Let's see. Tighten up low, proving my point. Said, look at how much Evans has dropped off. That has to be some coaching. That much is true. And he also says Robinson has a role too. Had some chances to add guys and didn't besides King. Tighten up load is on it. And Tighten up load is very good at this. He knows his stuff as much, just as much as I do. J-Rob had chances to get guys to help this defense, and he never did it. Clay Matthews is out there. Tat McKinley was out there. Damon Snacks Harrison was out there. You could have picked up Marcus Golden in the offseason, but you didn't. And what J-Rob has to do, he needs to pull off something like what Chris Ballard did with the Colts, what the Chiefs did with D Ford. What the 49ers did with D Ford. Gonna have to pull something off. They're gonna have to pull a big trade, I think. And with the way that we're gonna be drafting, I don't think trading our first round pick for a big time pass rusher is completely out of the question. Yeah, we're gonna have to pay some money. But if we have any money to spend, that's going to a pass rusher, a good one that could be had. Look at what DeForest Buckner has did to that Colts defense. Even though that defense was good, made them better. The 49ers, look at what they had in defense. Now, I know the 49ers, not good right now, but they've been hit by injuries like crazy. But you look at what they had. They had DeForest Buckner, but they have D Ford, Solomon Thomas, Nick Bosa, Nick Bosa. I'm sorry, not Joey Bosa. That's the Chargers. And Joey Bosa might be a guy I try to go get, if possible. I don't think the Chargers are going to give him up, but that wouldn't be a bad idea. I will have to see who could become free agents or who we could go after. Leonard Williams with the Giants, I still want him. If Quinnen Williams from the Jets could be had, I would like that. Definitely. P. Hicks and Byard has dropped off. A lot of guys on this team have dropped off. Let's see. Reggie B said, you think Amy Adams gives out pink slips if we lose and don't make it to the playoffs? I think her and J-Rob are going to be like, Vrabel, you got to make some changes to your coaching staff, and you're going to have to hire a defensive coordinator. He's going to have to treat him a little bit the same way he did Malarkey as far as make some changes, or we're making a change. D09 saying, why is the offense started off so slowly when we play in a big game? That is a good question, too. Honestly, we started off with scoring no, we didn't. Let me stop lying. I was about to say we scored on our first drive against the Packers. No, we didn't. We were having a nice drive, but then we didn't finish that drive. Vibe Runner said, do you feel Beasley had an influence on Evans? No. Evans is just not playing well right now. And let's see. Courtney Jackson, how you doing? Coming in says, I wonder why the coaches won't adjust the defensive strategy if we can see that playing defensive backs off too far doesn't work. I know they see it, but they're not doing anything different. Staff needs to go. Agreed. Something's got to change. And that hurt a lot when Dean Pease is gone and Kerry Coombs is gone. Now, I wouldn't mind asking Kerry Coombs if you don't get Wade Phillips or get Dean Pease back, maybe talk to Lovie Smith, even though he runs a 4-3. I would very much talk to Kerry Coombs about being defensive coordinator here. I think he would love to come back. He would sure add a fire to this defense. He sure would. But, y'all, I think that's enough for Pick My Brain. We are definitely going to get ready to go into the preview of this big game. It is do or die, win or cry, win or go home. And Preston says, I remember the 2000s, the good old days when the Titans were good with Steve McNair. And I think we're trying to get back to that. I just don't want this offense that's been so great to be wasted because of a terrible defense. I don't. We got to get it together. So this game is the big one. Once again, for the 5th straight year, we're in a winning situation. We win, we're division champs. We lose, we're not in control anymore. So this is a big deal. And I'm going to try to see, I want y'all to listen to a little bit of something from our opponent that may give cause for concern. This was J.J. Watt at the press conference. I'm going to try to see if I can pull him up.
Put work in the building, go out to the practice field and work hard, do your lifts and do what you're supposed to do. You should not be here. This is a job. We are getting paid a whole lot of money. There are a lot of people that watch us and invest their time and their money into buying our jerseys and buying a whole bunch of, and they care about it. They care every single week. We're in week 16 and we're 4-11, and there's fans that watch this game, that show up to the stadium, that put in time and energy and effort and care about this. So if you can't go out there and you can't work out, you can't show up on time, you can't practice, you can't want to go out there and win, you shouldn't be here. Because this is a privilege. It's the greatest job in the world. You get to go out and play a game. And if you can't care enough, even in week 17, even when you're trash, when you're 4-11, if you can't care enough to go out there and give everything you've got and try your hardest, that's bullshit.
Now, that was Tennessee. That was Houston, Texas defensive end J.J. Watt talking at the press conference after they lost their 4th straight game, losing to the Bengals. And let me tell you something. That press conference has me concerned, has me a little nervous about this game. Why I say that? Because he basically called out the entire Houston Texans organization. He called out his entire team, everybody. And I know he's a division rival, and a lot of us probably don't like J.J. Watt, but let me tell you something. I agree 1,000% with everything that man just said. I agree with everything he just said. I, honest to God, would love if one of the Titan players had said the exact same thing to the defense. I would be all right if Ryan Tannehill or somebody called out the defense. Hell, one of the defensive players could call themselves out or call out their defense. Say something like that. But that tells you something. J.J. Watt is going to be ready to go. And word is Deshaun Watson says as a competitor, he's going to try to play too. So we're going to get Houston's best shot this Sunday. I guarantee you that. And we better come ready to play too. We better be ready to come and smash them in the mouth. Because if we don't, and Houston beats us, Houston wants to ruin our season. And they have an opportunity to do that. They have an opportunity to kick us out of the playoffs altogether. So the Titans better had listened to that and be like, you know what? We got to be ready. We got to give it everything we got. Because if we don't, instead of us being division champs in the tournament, we're going to be sitting at home watching the tournament. So that's something important. And I see Tyrekus is in here. What's up, man? And like I said, shout out to what you was talking about. I agree a lot with a lot of what you said. Blavin Patel says, we drafted Jake Locker over J.J. Watt. I know, right? That's a darn shame. And then we could have drafted T.J. Watt, and we didn't. I liked T.J. Watt coming out of Wisconsin. Wanted him. DO9 said we're going to have to match their intensity. They ain't going to just let us get this win. Titan need to wake up and show up. That is so true. Yeah, just because you deserve the division championship, just because you deserve to be in the playoffs, that doesn't mean Houston's going to give it to you. As Coach Carter said, as Samuel Jackson said in Coach Carter, you got to take what's yours. You got to take some stuff. What's our moniker been? Take everything. And that's what we got to do Sunday. Take everything, give nothing back. So the Titans need to wake their ass up and realize this is our division now. It doesn't matter that Trevor Lawrence is going to be with the Jags next year. This is our division now. And we need to take it over and make everybody else bend the knee to us. If we had, K-True said, if we had someone like J.J. Watt on our team, Evans likely would have got hands put on. True, but hey, somebody got to call it out. Somebody better act like they give a damn. Courtney Jackson says we need to go after J.J. Watt. Now, the injury part does concern me with J.J. Watt, but I would rather go with a 50% J.J. Watt than anything. That at least tell you he going to give you something. But I know Pittsburgh is going to try very hard to get him because he wants to go up there and play with his brothers. He does. Money Cartel says, tired of every game deferring to the second half. Get the ball and play our game. That's what we should have did against the Packers. Take the ball first. And Blavin says, surprised that Simmons hasn't called him out yet. That's a good point. And that leads us into the Blu Enforcer 4 points to victory. And this is what we need to do. Point number one, I said this before, and I will say it again. Get out to a fast start. Don't let up. Get out to a lead. Get out early. Take the will from Houston. They'll give up. Well, they won't give up, but we will be in firm control. And P. Hicks says we're lacking leadership. And that is hit the nail on the head on that one. Ding, ding, ding. We have no leadership defensively. Woodyard, Casey, those guys were leaders. Ryan was a leader. And Logan Ryan, we could have had back, but J-Rob screwed that up. That was a big mistake. And now you can't get Logan Ryan back because he just got a 3-year, $31 million contract extension. But we got to get off to a fast start and get these guys to 1,000 yards. Corey Davis is 55 yards away. He cannot be shut out of catches in this game. I think they're going to make it a point to get both of these guys the ball. Corey Davis could get to 1,000 yards with 55. A.J. Brown could get to 1,000 yards, I believe, with 76 yards. So 55 and 76. A.J. Brown and Corey Davis get those numbers, they both hit 1,000 yards for the season. Point number two. Run, King, run, 2-2-3. Let the big dog eat. He is 223 yards away from 2,000. Do everything in our power to get him there. I know we don't want to risk injury and all that, but if he's running really well, I'm going to feed him the ball and get him to that 2,000. May try to start off getting AJ and Corey the ball, get them their yards, and then just hand the ball to Henry the rest of the way. Walker God comes in and says, we got to play like two wild dogs fighting over a bone. Yeah, and we got to win that bone. Preston said, Titan need to get their heads in the game and tighten up. I agree. Point number three. Going to the defensive side, I said this before. Just tackle. Tackle well, because they did not tackle well in this game against the Packers. They got to tackle well. I know we're not going to sack Deshaun Watson, but at least keep him from escaping. At least try to contain him as best as you can. Do not give him a lane out. Do not give him a way to run. And maybe Deshaun Watson makes a mistake and throw you a pick or two. But you got to wrap up. You got to tackle. Get hats on the ball. And then last but not least, point number 4. I don't care how you do it. Just get the damn job done. Get it done by any means necessary. And as Al Davis, the the owner of the Raiders would say, just win, baby. I don't care. Just win. That's all you got to do. Just win. And you are division champs. That's all you got to do. Just win. Get it done by any means necessary. I don't care how you do it, but get it done. And K. True basically said, is the Texas defense sorry enough for 397, 223, 76, and 55? And why those numbers came up, because as I mentioned earlier, 55 yards, Corey Davis gets to 1,000. 76 yards, AJ gets to 1,000. 223, Derrick Henry gets to 2,000. And the one that's probably the most difficult, 397, Tannehill gets 4,000. And we could become the first team in NFL history to have a 4,000-yard passer, a 2,000-yard rusher, and 2 1,000-yard receivers. It's going to be a tall order. Now, Brandon Allen did throw for like 300 for the Bengals, threw for 370 yards against them. So it is possible. It is very, very possible. And some points are going to be scored in this game. And Blavin Patel said, we need to just blitz. True. And Joseph, yes, definitely go back and watch the rest of it. Definitely understand that. But those are about 4 points right there. Start off fast. Don't lighten up. Run King, run 223. Tackle, tackle, tackle. Contain Deshaun Watson. And just get the job done by any means necessary. Which leads me to my prediction. The Titans are going to get the job done, in my honest opinion, and they are going to be wearing the crown as 2020 AFC South Division champs, or as the New Day would say, and I'm going to stand up and do this for y'all. I'm going to look silly. The Tennessee Titans will be your 2020 AFC South Division champions. I had to be silly with that, y'all. I had to be silly with that. But that's what they will be. The 2020 AFC South Division champions. They will get the job done. And I believe the score is going to be 38-24. I think the Titans get it done. 38-24. And they'll get the job done. But now we're going to go, and I'm sorry I didn't mention this earlier. I know a lot of guys missed practice earlier today. Nothing really to be alarmed about because we know a lot of guys tend to get some rest early on. But this was the report. I forgot to mention this earlier, so I apologize for that. As you can see, a lot of guys didn't practice. I think a lot of guys are getting rest. Darren Bates, Kari Blasingame, A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, which is not injury related. Adoree, Dennis Kelly, Derek Robertson, Jeff Simmons, Ty Smith. A lot of those guys didn't practice. Ben Jones and Roger Saffold were limited. Now, Laramie Tunsil for the Texans did not practice. And looks like Kiki Kuti was a limited participation. But Wednesday is not really the biggest concern. It is Thursday and Friday that are the concerns when it comes to that. But D09 says, I'm nervous about this one. Yeah, I think we're all going to be nervous. If the Dolphins and the Ravens win, we're going to be a lot more nervous. That much is a fact. If the Dolphins or the Ravens lose, I mean, we want to win the division, but we'll feel a little bit better because we're at least in the dance. Blavin says, if we win the coin toss, can we just take the damn ball? Good point. Go out there, punch them first. So that's what we got to do. But now we're going to go into our blue bombshell. And I want to give a shout out to the Titans because they're going to be honoring the first responders that responded to the Christmas Day bombing that happened in Nashville with the 615 patches on the back of their helmets. The 6 is going to be in a different font of color to represent those 6 police officers who got everybody out of harm's way. So they're honoring them. And I'm pretty sure if we get a home game in the playoffs, they're probably going to do something for those 6 responders probably at the game. They might make those 6 people the 12th Titan. I hope that's something that they do. I would really like if they did do so. And I believe the Titans have also started a chain of donations to help for relief after that bombing downtown on 2nd Avenue. So, again, my prayers go up to all those businesses affected because, you know, people own those places and they have families, and I know their money, their livelihood was affected by that, and people that live down there, they were affected by that as well. So definitely my prayers go up to all of those who were affected by the Christmas Day bombing. And also, I want to give a shout out to my big little sister, my play sister. You know, we're not related by blood. We're both in a fraternity and sorority together. Of course, as a lot of you know, I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. But my sister, Ashley Hunter, she's A. Marie on Facebook. She is a part of our sister sorority of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. So I want to say a big happy birthday to my little big sis, Ashley Hunter. Now, I say she's my little sis because she's younger than me. But I say she's my big sister because she's been in the sorority longer than I've been in the fraternity. So basically, shout out to her. Happy birthday to my little big sister. I love you to death. We are family. Blood couldn't make us no closer. You know that. And so happy 37th birthday to you. Indeed. Now, last but not least, and Walker says we can't underestimate the Ravens. They're going to be the Texans because they're going to be playing spoiler. That's true. Last but not least, it is the last shut your pie hole of 2020. And there's 2 that I want to give it to, and they're not really football related. Although, actually, there is a couple. To Patriot fans, y'all can shut your pie hole about that dynasty. It's over. Y'all are out of the playoffs for the first time in forever. So glad that the Patriots are not in the playoffs. Shut your pie hole. Y'all ain't winning no Super Bowl in the very near future. Also, shut your pie hole to John Gruden and the Raiders because all y'all had to do was take care of your business. We'd be in the playoffs already instead of fighting for our lives. So thanks, Raiders, for messing that up. So to my Uncle Brent and to everybody else who are Raider fans, shut your pie hole because your team stinks. Plain and simple. But last but not least, first of all, shut your pie hole to the Senate, and mainly to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, or as I like to call him, bitch, McConnell, because that's exactly what he is. I mean, just like an evil troll, like an evil, surly troll he is, for blocking that $2,000 stimulus relief package that would have helped a lot of people. Instead, they want to pass the $600 stimulus plan, which, I mean, what's somebody going to do with $600? That's barely enough for somebody to pay rent or a car note. What is somebody supposed to do with $600 one time? Now, if you're going to give somebody $600 every month, maybe that'll help. Maybe. But, I mean, really? You're going to go only approve $600 when you can give people $2,000. That can help somebody maybe pay rent for a couple of months. Maybe help somebody pay their car note for a couple of months. You know, help some people have some income in their pocket instead of just living paycheck to paycheck, spending every last dime on all their stuff, and then they have no money left to feed their kids. I mean, it's messed up how greedy the Republicans are in the Senate. It's greedy, and it's messed up. So I don't appreciate that. You know, heck, yes, I'm in a good place in my life. I'm blessed, but I could still use that $2,000, save that money up. So shut your pie hole to the Senate for not passing that bill. Tighten up, load, that was for you. And last but not least, I just want to say shut your pie hole to 2020. 2020 has been a year. It's been a crazy, messed up year. I mean, right at over 300,000 people have passed because of COVID. And thank you, Joseph. I'm going to bring that up. Over 300,000 people plus have died from COVID-19, which is terrible. I've known friends who have dealt with COVID. I had one of my former teammates at Whitehaven High School pass of COVID. My little big sister, who I just mentioned, dealing with COVID. COVID is real, y'all. I know there are some of y'all that believe it's a hoax. No, it is not. COVID is real. I guarantee it. And just because the vaccine is out, it is not over. Still need to social distance. Still need to wear a mask. Still need to protect yourself and your loved ones. And please, wearing a mask is not about you. It is protecting you from others. Okay? So please do that right, y'all. Do that right, and we can get back to being in our normal state where we can go out to eat, where we can all be at Nissan Stadium together again, 60,000 strong, chanting tighten up. So I want to say shut your pie hole and so long to 2020. Tomorrow is the last day of 2020, and it can't get here fast enough. And also, not a shut your pie hole, but a rest in peace moment. A wrestler, an AEW wrestler, and former WWE superstar, John Huber, who was known in the WWE as Luke Harper of the Wyatt family, who was also known as Mr. Brody Lee in AEW, passed away. Yes, Joseph, Dell did have COVID-19 as well and battled through it. Yes, absolutely. He's one of the friends I talked about. So I believe AEW is doing a tribute show in his honor tonight. So rest in peace to John Huber, a.k.a. Luke Harper, a.k.a. Mr. Brody Lee. Seemed like he was a really cool guy. A lot of guys, really talked fond of him and, really seemed like he was one of the good guys in the locker room. So, rest in peace to John Huber. Classic Rod, I understand it may have been a man-made virus, but still, it's not a hoax. It's real. It doesn't matter if it was sent out or whatever. You know, viruses happen. It's like the flu. We do get sick from it. The flu doesn't really go away. It's seasonal. We deal with it. We have to get vaccines for it. But this COVID thing is just as dangerous and more dangerous than the flu. It doesn't matter how it happened. It's the fact that it has. And we got to take precautions. We have to protect ourselves and our families. I want to be able to be back in Nissan Stadium. Hell, I want to be able to go to Tampa, Florida and see my family and hug my mom. I want to be able to hug and slap it up with my brother. You know? There's people I want to, my Titans family here in Memphis, the Titans fan club of Memphis. The only reason I don't hang out with them as much right now is because I am concerned making sure I don't bring COVID back to my wife. I want to be able to hang out with my Titans family here. I want to be able to hang out with all of y'all live and in person. So everybody, do your part in 2021 so we could take this virus down some notches and we could get back to being the norm. That's what we got to do. So y'all, with that being said, let's call that a night. I'm going to be joining Tennessee Titans Weekly in just a little while. So shout out to Tennessee Titans Weekly. I'm going to be hanging out with them and a lot of the guys. So if y'all want to watch some more YouTube, check out those guys over there as well tonight. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all share this show out. Thank y'all again. And if I don't say this before, I will probably do a live video on Facebook. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. And let 2021 be a great year and leave 2020 behind. And everybody, y'all know what we got to do. And there's only one thing we can do. This is all we can do, y'all. Thanks, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Good night, y'all. And all we can do, tighten up.